Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be unboxing and installing these Kwikset locks. We have a doorknob and a electronic deadbolt with pin pad. Alright, so I don't know where this is going to come up in this series of videos I'm posting, but I recently purchased a new home, and one of the upgrades we want to make first is locks, changing the locks. We wanted to rekey all of our locks to have one key throughout the house. And so what we did is we ended up buying a full set of Kwikset locks to go throughout the home. And we found a really great deal on Amazon. You get this deadbolt and this handle lock that is a keyed handle lock as well for, I think it was $83. The links will be down in the description below where you can find these guys. So to start, let's go ahead and do the unboxing. If you'd like, use the chapters and timestamps down in the description below or highlighted here on the red bar. If you go to skip ahead, that will help you find exactly what you're looking for if you want to jump ahead and focus on just the deadbolt or just the knob installation parts. So we're going to start with the handle lock here first. And then it does have some sealing here on this guy. There we go. Alright, inside of the packaging we have our doorknob here. You can see where the key will go. And then one thing that it took me a minute to figure out is you don't have to undo these screws all the way. You just twist the knob and then it'll slide out. You can see how they have these set up and keyed so you can get mostly there and then secure it in with just a few turns of these screws. And then we have our latch. And we have two keys that come with it. A replacement, so this is I don't know what you'd call this part, but it basically will replace this section here if your door doesn't have this chiseled out for this plate. You can just use this little piece here. And then we have our instructions and additional hardware. Let's go ahead and open that up real quick. Alright, inside here we have our screws. There are 4 screws inside. Let's open this guy up real quick as well. So we have 4 screws inside, 2 long screws and 2 short screws. The short screws are meant for the latch that will attach to your door, while the long screws are meant for this skid plate here that will attach to the door frame to keep it from being pulled out. The longer screws will be more secure and safer. We have our instructions here, as well as list of tools needed. And then over here we have our rekeying system. This is what we'll use to rekey this lock to match all of our other locks in our home. And that is the contents that comes with our doorknob. Alright, let's go ahead and start on our Bowerbolt unboxing here. This is the Kwikset Bowerbolt 2. We have our instructions here on the front, as well as our instructions in Spanish as well. Then we have a guide for installation, and here on top is the inside section that contains our latch lever as well as stores where our batteries are. We have our attachment plate. And then our outdoor section, the pin pad with our switch. And we have another box. Inside the additional box we have our keys, the plate for our deadbolt, our deadbolt latch itself, and then the adapter if our door doesn't already have the notch cut out here for the deadbolt. We have our rekeying system, and then we have 2 bags for hardware. The bag with the brass screws here are for the actual mounting plates and the device itself. So these 3 and these 2. So these 2 will connect this to here, and then these 3 will connect this to this plate. We'll show you later. And then here we have a variety of screws to mount our deadbolt. So we do have 4 of these little short screws, 2 medium length screws, and 2 really long screws. So our doorknob only had these length ones for the plate here, while this one comes with these ones or this one. You have 2 different hole sizes here, so you use your small screws here for this front side, and then these bigger screws, whichever one you can use, you'll use here on the larger holes. We'll show you that when we get to the installation. And this is everything that comes inside of our Bowerbolt set. All right, now that we've unboxed everything, we know what we have, let's go ahead and go over to the door and I'll start the installation process with you. The only tool you'll need is a Phillips head screwdriver. I will use a mix of a Phillips on a hand screwdriver as well as a powered drill. All right, you guys, so like I kind of showed in the unboxing, these handles come off fairly easily. You just undo it, just give it a couple of screws. And then you'll hold the knob on the back side and twist this section and it'll slide right off like that. Now, if you want to do this the lazy way, you can just take the new one and slide it right on and not change this out. But we want to match the handle and this plate here, so we're going to replace those 2 things here. Getting good lighting here is hard, so I'm sorry about that, but we'll just go ahead and pull the 2 screws out of this guy, and then this will just slide right out. So in exact reverse order, we'll take the plate and put it on. Then we'll take our screws here and throw just like that. Try not to overdo it. You can easily strip out the wood on this guy, so you don't need to go until you get a click out of these rattle guns or things like that. And then next we'll do our knob. Like I showed you in the unboxing, we'll go ahead and give that a twist and that'll come right off. Make sure our key sight is out. Oh, and you know what? I just noticed our lock is upside down. So because this is a right side door, this is gonna leave our key upside down, and that leaves it more vulnerable to getting stuck because the pins are on this side. So it gets dust and grime down in there, which makes it more difficult for your keys. It also makes it easier for a pick to get in there and get things unlocked. So we want it to be this way, but the problem is this guy is on the wrong side of everything. So I'm gonna do a quick cut here to show you how to change that out. All right, so there's a few ways to do this. You can actually buy a tool from Kwikset to take all this stuff out and swap this around easily. However, I don't want to spend the $12 for that tool, and you can do it with these. These are my 2 longest and skinniest flathead screwdrivers, as well as a Phillips driver, or basically any tool that has a little bit of a bigger, rounder piece with a point on the end-ish, and some pliers. So, first thing we're going to do is take a look at this side here. We have this brass plate here. So this brass plate has a bend down on one side. Looks like this side is our dog ear where it bends down. And then on this side, if you look, it's got this little tab that if you come in from the side, you can actually depress it, just like that, pushing it in that way. So I'm actually going to take my screwdriver and shove it in there, and I'm going to shove it in like that, so now it's actually holding it out. So what that does is it opens a little door over here, so now we can take this guy and we'll align this nub with that section there, and then with your pliers this should be pretty easy, should come right out. Next, leaving this screwdriver in, we'll go down into the hole. There's 2 tabs on either side. There's one on this wall and then there's one on this wall here. So what you'll do is you'll come in and you'll push until you feel that, and then you're going to kind of push a little bit more to kind of, there's 2 tabs and you're sliding in behind the tab, and then you want to release it. There's a latch that you're pushing in past. And then we're going to do the same thing on the front side here. This gets a little tricky because you already got a screwdriver in there. This is why you want your longest and skinniest ones. Oh, and I feel it. So, and it just popped out. So what we're doing is actually pushing these 2 tabs in here. We're shoving our screwdriver there and there. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and slide this guy back in. It's all spring loaded, so it should just click into place. Make sure that that little tag there is flush with the surface of this, just like it is. And then now we can just go install the knob and then slide this in whatever orientation we need. But just make sure that that tab is set up correctly and we're good to go. Back to the door. All right, now we have our knob without the key in it, as well as our lock end. And we can just slide this guy in. Now, just like before, we'll use these little latch ends to slide it on and then tighten it. So there's a D-shaped section right here. You want to make sure that that matches up with the D-shaped section here. Here. We'll then twist this, push it forward, and then slide it down on top of those screws. There we go. And now you can see those screws are sticking out just a little bit. We'll use a Phillips head screwdriver to screw it in. And then once it's secure, this frame part shouldn't wiggle up and down. And now we'll simply take our lock, and now that since we had to pull it out, we'll just throw it right in, make sure it's at the right orientation, and push it in until it clicks. We can turn our little latch here and unlocked, locked. Super easy. Next, let's go ahead and go to this strike plate, skid plate, strike plate. It's one of those names. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start by taking off our other strike plate here. And if everything lines up correctly, you should be able to just take the new one and put it right there over it. And it looks like this one's gonna match pretty easily. It does help that we're going from Kwikset brand to Kwikset brand. We'll just go ahead and throw our screws in here. There you go. Let's go ahead and test it by closing the door. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and get started on our deadbolt here. First thing we're gonna do is take out these two screws here on the ends. Right. And then this whole thing will then come right apart, just like that. All right, once you get the knob off, next thing you're gonna do is go ahead and undo these screws here. This guy should just pull right out. So if it doesn't pull out, try twisting the lock back here, and then it should just pull out. All right, now is gonna be the part that will probably require the most work, which is our strike plate here for our deadbolt. You can just reuse the one you have if you don't have the tools or expertise to do this, but I'll show you how I'm gonna do it here. Go ahead and take these screws out. I had some nice long ones in there, that's good. And then this new strike plate, as you can see, is quite a bit bigger. So what we'll do is we'll actually center this hole over the hole that's already been drilled into the lock face here, and then we'll mark the outer edge and then chisel all that out. So I have a chisel here. I'll go ahead and mark the top and this side, bottom. So what I'm doing first is just breaking off the fibers. So I'm pushing inward with a lot of pressure here, just to break the ends of the fibers of the wood grain. All right, and then this chisel has two sides. We have the flat side here, and then the angled side. So we'll use the angled side to cut in here, and then if you start cutting too deep, you just push the blade down, or the handle down, just like that. If you don't have the strength to just push this up like this, you can use a hammer. All right, let's see how we got the fit here going. Look at that, nice. Okay, so next we're gonna get a drill bit and drill these holes out. Let's start by driving in a couple of screws, making sure everything fits right. And then among our leftover screws, we have these two. This is a bigger head and that's a smaller head. Unfortunately, I'd love to use these bigger head ones here, but the smaller head is the only ones that fit, otherwise they're gonna stick up. So these bigger ones are if this If there's something behind this strike plate, like electrical wires, things like that, that you don't want to screw into, where I know that we don't have that right here next to it, I can run these straight in. But if you do have electrical right there, you have to use the shorter screw in exchange for the larger one, just so you don't damage other things behind the wall there. And we'll pre-drill here for the smaller screws real quick. All right, let's go ahead and move over to our deadbolt itself. All right, you guys, now it's time to put the deadbolt here in the door. So first thing you're gonna do is grab our bolt itself. This has a little marking here on it for you that says up, so you know which way is right side up on this guy. If you do need the lock extended, it does twist, and now the up has changed and it'll be further to the left from the knob. Ours is short. There we go, and that fits right in perfectly. And then using our small screws that were supplied, we'll just screw this guy in. Next, we'll take our pin pad and we'll turn this little lock to match whichever way the piece right here is facing. So you're gonna run the wire underneath the lock and then that tongue through the notch. Perfect. Next, we'll use our plate. So the right way to put this plate on is these little nubs here will stick away from the door. This way that the actual lock itself and the battery pack will latch onto the top here and sit there, if that makes sense. So take that there. So we're running the electrical wire through this hole here, and then the flat blade will go through the center hole. And then I have these two screws here. They're gonna go through these, looks like eye holes on a face almost. And those will thread through the deadbolt into pin pad here. So we'll feed those all the way through. If you back this out a little ways, you can see where they are and maybe line them up with the holes on this face plate here. And then we'll push that in, screw it all together. Just want to get it close. So now that we're close, we got these down but not all the way tightened. These two screws here, down but not all the way tightened. We're gonna come in with a flathead or a Phillips screwdriver by hand and go the rest of the way. With that, we're gonna make sure that this is level at the same time. Make sure that this and this plate is level. If this plate is not level, your other body section, the latch section, won't be level as well. So make sure that this and this are level as you're tightening it down. Check it a few times, take your time on this part. Next thing you want to do is make sure that this does lock it just by grabbing this little latch piece here and turning it, or getting your key, putting it in the hole and turning the lock. You may have installed this upside down. That's just something to keep in mind. All right, now we're ready for our main back plate. So this section here will just slide up and then off. Slide it up a little bit. It's pretty tough. And then it should just pull right away. This is where we'll put in our batteries. You'll need 4 AA batteries. Batteries are not included on this one, sorry guys. Now, we'll plug in our connector here. Have our connector in, and then we'll put our latch in. Next, we'll grab our 3 screws that look like this. So on this plate here, we have 3 holes. We're gonna put one of these screws in each of the holes. And once they're all aligned, then you can tighten them down. This is also a good time to make sure that your whole plate here is level as well. Now we'll insert our batteries and be ready to get started. All right, you guys, now I'm gonna show you how to re-key your locks. They're actually pretty easy. Both of these kits came with this smart key from Kwikset. So all you'll need to do is take your key that came with the lock, turn it to the right 90 degrees so that now your button is on the top, and then you'll use this little pin to go in and push the button, and then you can now slide your key out You'll then take the key you want to use, slide that guy in, go all the way over, and then all the way back, and now it's programmed to my key. Let's do that again. So on our lower lock here, we go in and push the button. There was a very quiet but soft click you can hear, which means now you can pull your key out, put in the key you want to use, slide that in, twist it all the way to the left, and then back to the center, pull it out, and now it locks and unlocks the door. All right, now I'm going to show you guys how to program this lock here. I actually have to follow the instructions step by step on this every single time. On the instruction manual that comes with the Deadbolt here, it begins at step 6 is where it gives you the instructions on programming your keypad. So the first thing we need to do is set the lock direction so it knows whether it's locked or unlocked right now. Right now it's unlocked, so the first thing you'll do is you'll press 0, 0, 0, 0 4 times, and then press the lock button. It'll beep once, press 0 one more time, and then press lock again. It'll then lock and unlock to show it knows that this is the unlocked position. So again, make sure it's unlocked, push 0 4 times, press lock, 0, lock, it'll lock itself and then unlock itself, and then beep twice. If it beeps 3 times, something went wrong, try again. Default user code on these is 1, 2, 3, 4. If you press lock, it'll say, hey, I'm unlocked already. So let's lock it. 1, 2, 3, 4, lock, unlocks the door. How to add a user code. What you'll do is put in our master code, 0, 0, 0, 0, press lock, 1, lock. Now we'll enter in our new user code. We'll do 2, 4, 6, 8, 0. This code can be 4 to 10 digits long. Then you'll press lock, beeps twice to say it's been successful. Now we'll lock the door and put in 2, 4, 6, 8, 0, lock, and it now unlocks the door. All right, and those are just the basics on the operation for the keypad for this lock here. I made a whole video going through all of the operations, linked right here as well as down in the description below. It'll also be posted just after this video on YouTube, going over all of the different operations for this guy. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy on Amazon. All right, so right here we show just the Deadbolt lock itself, listed at $56, 25% off, that's nice. So how mine was sold is, if you scroll down here, you can see here, frequently bought together. You can get the handle and the Deadbolt, as well as an interior knob. We didn't end up getting the interior knob, so it was just these two. So let's go ahead and, there we go. And it was $82.64 is what it's listed for today. So that is what we ended up getting. And let's go ahead and check out the price history on just the Deadbolt here on Honey. All right, so right here on Honey with the Deadbolt, we scroll down, jump out to 120 days to show our history. We can see that the average price here is about $59, $59.90, $59.50. And then it looks like we got some deep sales of $55. A good price though, it looks like it's $57, and right now it seems to be holding right around $56 here in the first couple of weeks of September. That's actually a really great price. Make sure you're not buying on these price spikes. Some people will buy things online and then relist them on Amazon for much more. Don't go spending $70 on this lock. Normal price is going to be between $60 and $55, which not too big of a span, about a $5 price gap there. Find a really good deal, you might find it at exactly $55. All right, and then let's jump over to just the doorknob itself. This is listed individually at $26 at 21% off right now. I think the sales are pretty normal. And then again, you can scroll down and see what things are frequently bought together. Let's go ahead and check out the price history on Honey for the doorknob itself. We'll go ahead and scroll down here. Last 120 days. You can see back in June it was about $29. But looks like we got a fairly steady price at $26.20. You get, what, 80 cents off on the sales. So the doorknob is going to be a pretty steady price. You don't need to be watching for the big deals on this one. Just make sure you're not paying 30 bucks for it. Pretty normally at about $26. So that's good to know that they got pretty steady pricing here on the Kwikset doorknob. All right, so I've had this lock set for about a month and a half now, and I replaced all of the locks in our home with these Kwikset locks, as well as rekeyed them all as I showed you, and programmed them all with the same codes so that I can get in and out of any door without having to worry about having keys on me. The only other thing that would be nice is if I had a Tesla that could just use my phone as a key. That would be super cool, but I don't have that kind of money. These are a super easy and painless way to upgrade the security of your home. If you want to see more security stuff, go ahead and see the link right here to where I installed a couple of security cameras, and I do intend on doing videos on more cameras that I have installed, and another digital lock as well that I made a video on. Overall, the durability, the quality, I have had no issues in the first month and a half of using it. The only thing that I've run into is one of my locks, the deadbolt and the latch don't line up together, and so when we close the door, the latch will be here and the deadbolt will be here, and it won't be able to push in to latch. And so you have to sit there and jiggle the door. But that's more of a function or an issue with the door. But kind of like I mentioned in my other video where I go through the tutorial of all of the functions, it does have a beeping feature to where if there's an error, it'll beep 3 times. So if it tries to lock and it's not able to turn that deadbolt latch, it'll actually beep 3 times and say, hey, don't go, I'm not locked, which is very, very appreciated. I've had smart locks on pretty much all of my homes for the past 10 years. I think it's pretty standard now. If you don't have those, I don't know what you're doing. Like, why not? Like, one less key to worry about, and it makes it just a little bit easier to get in your home. If you have questions about this Bowerbolt 2 or the doorknob that came with it, leave those in the comments below. Overall, I do definitely recommend getting these guys for yourself. If not these ones, a similar smart lock I think is a great way to upgrade the security on your home. If you think I've earned it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel here. And if you'd like to help support this channel, down in the description below are Amazon affiliate links. Those are links to all of the products that I use here, and clicking those links do help support this channel with no additional cost to you. So go ahead and click those links, do your Amazon shopping from there, and that will help to support this channel. Again, consider subscribing, share this with a friend. If you have questions, comments, or ideas for future videos, leave those in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.